Okay, let's build a paint and powder coat booth. This is going to be a fun little project. I went to my local hardware store, got all the lumber, I have all the parts, got the fans, all the electrical, everything to get this thing going. So I'll show you kind of a little rundown of what the plan is. Okay, we're in the back right corner of the shop. This is kind of the parts washing station with the laundry sink there. Then we got the spray sandblast cabinet over here in this corner. So we're gonna do all our parts prepping here. And then over to this area, there's gonna be a 4x4 by 7 foot tall booth. And this booth's gonna have 2 variable speed fans with LED lighting and a plug for the powder coat gun. And we're gonna be able to paint and powder from this booth. So I'm gonna frame it out of just traditional lumber. And then we're gonna put sheet metal on the inside and the outside and make it really look authentic. It's going to be pretty neat. Then that's where the oven's going. So this is a 4x4 by 6 oven, which should be here any day. We're going to get that put in place, but I want to build this booth. So let's get to it. Okay, we're all framed up. I got the fans installed and mounted. They're inset 2 inches, but now I need to frame the boxes in, but I'm just gonna wait till the ducting's done so it's not hard to get at later. And then there's gonna be a nice 16 by 25 inset filter that's gonna sit flush with this wall. I got Chuck here bringing the metal in. This is going to be for the inside of the booth, for the walls and ceilings and even the floor. So we're going to start mounting this up. Okay, I went to the local hardware store and just got, they're these finishing washers. They have a bevel on them. So we're gonna be using these on the sheet metal. As you can see, it's gonna give it that nice finish. All right, here's an update of where we're at. We're completely framed. I've done all the back framing. I've framed around all of the fans, that's completed. We've got the sheet metal on 2 sides and the top. We're gonna be ducting the back, that still has to be done. Off of the top of the fans need to get ducted to the 8-inch outlet. Once that's finished, we can close the back wall off, and then we can finish with all our metal trim to cap it all off nice and clean. And then I have a friend coming over to give me a hand pulling all the wires. I got all the boxes in place exactly where I want them, and I picked up all the material, so we're gonna get the wiring done next. Okay, electrical roughing's complete. We've put the black tape where the LED lights are gonna be going. So we got one on each side, 2 on the top. And then over here, we have 1 switch to turn all 4 lights on. Then this is 1 variable speed fan control for the 1 lower fan, and then this is for the upper fan. So we'll be able to dial in exactly how many CFMs are coming out of the fans. And then I put a plug down here in the corner, and that's gonna be for the powder coat gun. So next up, I have a bunch of leftover material from when I built my house, and it's tongue and groove. So I figured I might as well use it inside both sides of this, of the booth. So I'm gonna go grab that wood and then get started on that. Got an 8-inch Y, and because the fans are going to be running individually or both at the same time, we got these custom ducts made that go into an 8-inch duct here, and they have dampers in them so the air won't travel back, and it's going to go up here and tie into the Y and then go up through the roof and outside. Okay, we got the fans cranked on. It's pulling so much air. That's 1400 CFMs being pulled right outside. There's the Y. I don't think this happens too often, but I'm gonna be painting the paint booth. So even though it's not even done, I'm still gonna throw the filters in there temporarily, fire it on, and I'll actually be testing out this paint booth while I'm painting it. So let's get to it. Grab some degreaser, or actually brake cleaner, and use it on this galvanized metal, the walls, and get it all cleaned up, prep ready for primer. And then once it's all primed and painted, we're going to be putting all corner trim in here to hide the gap so everything's sealed off nicely. And then we're going to be putting some nice corner caps on the outside. So what I'm doing here is I'm just using, I use the brake cleaner, I'm going to use just some galvanized metal primer. This is actually meant for this application. Going to get a good coat of primer on there. And then I'm going to follow up with a couple coats of this Tremclad gloss white. I'm going to keep it as white in that booth as possible so we can see the parts better when they're all lit up. So I'm going to get going on that. Okay, I've let the paint dry for a good couple hours, enough to move on to the next stage. I've marked out my lines here, and here's the plugins that I wired on the switches for these LED bar lights. So I'm gonna go and use some, they came with these mounting brackets, but I just didn't like the way they were they were set up. So I just have some double-sided mounting tape. That way I can move them around later too if I really need to. So I'm gonna go ahead and start mounting these light bars. Put the cover plates on. Those are just housing the plugs for the light, so I can switch them or add more if I wanted. So I have junction boxes I can get access to. I got the plug down there if I need it for the powder coat gun, and I have all the lights in place. So that's how bright it is now. Nice and bright. So now I have to start all the angle trim, get all that up, and then the last thing to do is to build the filter racks and to put the end caps on, and then we're ready to start using the booth. Okay, I got some this metal trim here. I don't know what gauge it is, but it's pretty thick steel. So I'm gonna be using that for the corners here. So I'm just making my miters, and they're gonna go up and over around, box the whole entire thing out. Chuck making the custom filter racks.
Yeah, so the way that this goes, filter goes in here, and you grab your grill, and that slides down in front like that.
Boom. That's awesome. There it is. So let's do a little tour around it. So here we have the top fan. You crank it on. It's pulling from the top. This one turns the bottom on, or you can have them both on at the same time. Depending on what you're doing, you can crank them full on 1400 CFM. Or if you're spraying powder and you don't want that much, you just adjust them accordingly. So you can literally set the booth up for exactly what you're doing in here. Here's the light switch. That's gonna turn on these 4 LEDs, 36-inch bars. There's 2 on the top, 1 on each side. I've gone and put a plug in here. That's if I want to hook up my powder coater, I can hook that up there. If I want it on this side, or I've also put a plug over here, and I'm gonna most likely put a shelf here so I can have it all set up there when I'm not using it. This is the custom filter racks we did. So these things just slide right out. Just like that, I can remove the filters, switch them really easily, and we actually inset them so they're not big bulky filters hanging out of the wall. So it turned out really nice because now it's nice and flush and it left more room in here. So we got 2 of those. I got the Martin James Designs logo on there. And I actually taped the floor down so I can remove it. So that way it's gonna get dirty and dusty and whatnot, but I don't wanna get any paint and powder on the actual floor. And plus I'm gonna build a roller, a powder coat rack that's gonna be able to go in and out without a problem, because the oven is a roll-in as well. So we'll be able to grab our powder coated parts and move them right into the oven. So also on the side, I had leftover material from when I built my house. This was the ceilings in my home. So I would grab that material and used it on both sides. It's a little over extravagant, but it turned out really nice. And then this is gonna be the location where I'm hooking up to the spray for paint and powder. I can adjust it through the regulator. It's got a water trap and everything in it. So this is it. All right. Although it may seem a little bit overbuilt, for the cost of buying a pre-built booth, it's around $3,000 to $4,000 US. I built this booth for about $1,200 Canadian. Obviously, I did it all myself, so I saved a lot of money in the labor. But in my opinion, it turned out absolutely amazing. The bones of it are very straightforward, so you guys can use this idea and make it a little more simple, save a little money in different areas. But all together though, this booth is gonna be super functional for what I need, and I was able to make it to the exact specifications of my shop. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a like, thumbs up, and thanks for watching. And make sure you guys subscribe because it keeps me motivated to keep making these videos. So next up is the introduction of my 4x4x6 Eastwood powder coat oven. That'll be on the next video. All right, guys.